The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
This week, first up, we are joined by Cara Olson. She is the Acting Operations Manager for the Humane Society of Durham Region. Cara, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So it's been a while since we've checked in with the HSDR. Last when we spoke, the shelter had been closed to the public for the safety of the animals and your staff and your visitors. It remains closed to the public at this point, even though we're in phase 3, correct?
Correct. So we have made some changes. It's all very new, as everything is for everyone, but we have made some changes in stage 3. So now people that are interested in adopting and want to come in and look at the animals, they can make an appointment. So they can call in. We have some appointment times on different days. So we're only allowed to have like one group, like a family of people on each side. We have the dog side and the cat side, but you have to call ahead and make an appointment. And we ask that only people that are seriously looking to adopt animals call and make an appointment, not people that just want to come and look for fun. Just during this time, that's usually fine at our shelter, people coming in and looking at the animals. But right now we have to keep it to only people that are interested and want to come meet the animals. So before stage 3,
right,
we were closed to everyone. We just did curbside and phone interviews. But now we're opening up a little bit with precautions, and everyone has to wear a mask and keep distance. So we're trying our best to keep everyone safe.
And I am amazed that throughout this, COVID-19 and this entire thing, that your adoptions, those animals were getting adopted left, right, and center. You had great success with adoptions.
Yeah, we noticed we didn't have a major decline in adoptions. We actually we've taken in over 300 animals since COVID started, and we never stopped adopting out animals. I know some places, they had a pause, but we thought it was important. We just wanted to make sure we did it safely. So we talked about it. Everyone had their opinions, and we made sure that we could still adopt out animals, because that's important. We don't want animals staying in the shelter for longer than needed. So we had to change what we were doing, but still have our end goal of getting animals into great families.
So the animals that have been adopted throughout COVID, it was a great time to adopt an animal. I talked to a lot of people who said, you know what, I'm home, I'm working from home. I'd have more time to spend with my pet. So there's no time like the present to jump in and adopt or to get a pet in the home. Is there concern, though, once the wheels start turning again, and especially school goes back, kids go back to school, that you're going to see an influx of animals coming back that people just don't have time for?
Well, that is something that is a worry for us, and I'm sure in every rescue organization. We always believe adoption is a great thing, but our team, we have like a really highly skilled team that's been trained to counsel people when they call about this exact issue and ways they can avoid it. So that might be like participating in training, maybe having the dog try to maybe leave the house for a few hours a day, even if you're just out in your backyard or down the street, maybe participating in a doggy daycare, things like that, because we want the routine to be kind of similar to what it would be like if they were back working full time, just so we avoid things like separation anxiety or anything like that. And we want to make sure that people know that the animal is for a lifetime commitment, their lifetime commitment. So we do talk about that with people. We discuss different strategies to make it successful, and that's all we can do. If more animals come back, that's what we will deal with. But we're hoping that with some extra counseling and talking about this issue, that people will, think about it more and really make the right decisions for their family.
And you do vet families very carefully.
Yes.
What's the process if a family wants to adopt an animal?
So you can either look online. So definitely I'd always start online to see what animals are available, because we have some out in foster and then we have some here at the shelter. You could make an appointment, call in and make an appointment to ask to come and see the animals. So you can do that for sure. And then if there's one that you're interested in meeting, you can come in and meet them, and then you can either do an in-person socially distanced interview, or you can go back home and do it. We can do it over the phone. We've been doing a lot of phone interviews recently that have been going really well.
Mm-hmm.
But the first step is go online and you'd fill out an adoption application. And that's the first step. And then we go from there.
Now, you mentioned that animals are out in foster. In fact, a great deal of your animals, a great number, were fostered out throughout the COVID lockdown, were they not?
Yeah. Yes, a lot of them. We had a wonderful, we have already our foster base, which were great, but we had a lot of people offering to foster because they were home. And so we've had a lot of new fosters reaching out, which kept the actual shelter population low, which allowed us to staff accordingly so we could be more socially distanced. And since there's not as many people coming in, the animals can have more enrichment. So it was really wonderful. The community came together. People were reaching out like never before to actually foster kittens and cats and dogs. So that was a really positive thing that came out of COVID, is we have some new great fosters.
What's the process if you want to foster an animal? What are you looking for in a foster family?
So there is, so you're going to go on our website, and there's an application that you'd fill out to become a foster. And then we have a wonderful foster coordinator here who will go through those, and we'll give them a call and set up a bit of an interview. And basically we require, usually most of the animals, we have a lot of kitten fosters. So we require them to have their own separate space in the house, just so they don't mingle with other animals, just in case there's anything. We don't want to spread anything, or we like to keep them separate. And so if they have their own room and you're able to clean up after them, feed them, we ask for weekly updates. And obviously if there's any medical issues, to contact us right away. So it would have to be someone who's willing to do all those things. You just do an interview, and then we could set you up as a foster.
And of course, COVID has taken its toll on your ability to fundraise.
Yes.
It has affected some of your major fundraising initiatives that you rely very heavily on to be able to care for all these animals.
Yes. So at the HSDR, we receive no government funding. So every dollar that we get is from people in the community, people that love animals. And we often will have a few of our major events, are like our gala and our golf tournament. And both of those have had to be canceled this year, which greatly affects the amount of money that comes in, our ability to care for the animals. So we've been trying to fundraise other ways. We're doing online appeals. We're relying on the generosity of the community to continue to provide the top-notch care that we always do for these animals. And so we've been able to do that, but we always use donations, and we're trying to think of new and different ways to fundraise this year that aren't big group in-person meetings. And if you wanted to donate, you can always go to our website, hsdr.org, and you can donate there, or you can call us, or even if you wanted to come to the shelter and ring the doorbell, that's fine as well.
I guess some people don't realize the immense cost that lands on your lap when an animal in need is dropped on your doorstep. You have vets that you work with that I'm sure give you as good a deal as they possibly can, but veterinary care and feeding these animals, it costs a lot.
Very expensive, yes. We do we work with great vets who do give us a deal, but we often get animals that get dropped off because they have a medical problem that needs to be fixed, and maybe the owner could not financially deal with it themselves. So we do get animals that are in immediate need for medical care, which can be very expensive. And that's where a lot of our money goes to, is either doing spay and neuter surgery, medical care, and feeding and caring for the animals. That's our main initiative here. And that's what we want. That's what we need money for. And we do get cases every day, and people calling every day with animals that have medical issues, or they have nowhere to go. Maybe they're abandoned in an apartment, or people might have to move. So definitely the cost is immense, and definitely fundraising is really important to us.
Well, speaking of the animals, you have a little helper there today. We're rapidly running out of time, but I want to show his sweet face to everybody out there.
Okay. This is little Orion.
Orion. Hi,
Sorry.
Orion.
I always say Orion. This is Orion, and he's one of our constellation kittens. So we have kittens at the shelter here right now, and then some that are not quite big enough to go, that are in foster, that will become available soon. And he has he has siblings here at the shelter as well. So he's just lovely. He loves to purr. He's super cute, and he needs adoption, so he can be ready to be applied for. You can go on our website and fill an application for Orion.
Oh, he's so adorable. Now, where did Orion and his siblings come from?
So actually, we transferred in from the Kawartha Lakes Humane Society, who had a large amount of kittens. And since we had so many great fosters sign up, we had some extra space, so they were able to send them over. But he was born outside. He was from a barn cat, and they took in the kittens so they could be socialized and adopted. Hi, bud.
So adorable. So what does it cost to adopt?
So for a kitten, it costs $160. And there's different prices for different animals, but for kittens, it's $160, and they come spayed and neutered. They have a microchip, and they have as many vaccines as they're able to get at the age that they're at. So they come with all those things. It's a great deal, and you have everything taken care of. You have your microchip in case, forbid, they might get lost, and it's much more affordable than getting a kitten for free and having to do all those things yourself. So we try to make it a great deal for the people and find homeless animals their new family. Oh, he wants to jump away.
He's just full of energy, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he loves to play. He likes wand toys. He's very sweet. He loves to purr.
Aww.
He just wants to go and jump on the floor right now.
Okay. Well, you know what? We'll let him go. We're out of time. Cara Olsen from the Humane Society of Durham Region. Thanks so much for joining us. Stay with us. More to come on Local Update after the break.
Thank you.
I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Allison.
We are so excited to be back for another season of The Parenting Show.
Yes, and the topics for this round are things like the infiltration of tech in the family, ways for parents to prevent underage drinking, good old sibling fighting and rivalry, and how to handle those nasty power struggles in the family.
And it's a great way for you to realize that you are not alone. It's all right here on Rogers TV.
and welcome back to your COVID-19 local update. I'm Deborah Hutchison in the Rogers TV studio. Joining us now via Zoom is Tracy Roulston of the Durham Region Challenger Baseball League. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak with you again. It's always wonderful.
Yeah, we've missed you. And I know your players have missed you. So let's talk about the effect that, COVID-19 has affected us all. But this was supposed to be the most exciting year in Challenger baseball history for you and your players. And it's almost like the rug got stolen out from underneath you.
That's so true. Last year, we were able to get our Field of Dreams built. So many people came together and the construction started and it was completed by the fall. But by that point, it was really too late to, have a game, have an official opening day, inviting all those that were involved. So we decided, well, we'll just do it in June. So through the winter, I booked permits for all the games and for the opening day to happen, and insert COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's been, it was terrible. It's created some anxiety for the kids. I know for myself, for caregivers, parents, because we really look forward to getting these kids out on the diamond, and it just couldn't happen this year.
So for those who are not that familiar with Challenger baseball, let's talk about what Challenger baseball is. Let's start there.
Well, it's a league and it's across Canada too, primarily for kids with cognitive and physical needs. So you could come out and watch a game and you're going to see perhaps some kids with cerebral palsy, maybe kids in a wheelchair, vision issues, hearing impaired, that kind of idea. So what we want to do is just create an environment that's inclusive and it's safe. And that's what we did over at Willow Park.
And they have buddies, right? You had, volunteers. I know other teams have come and been the players' buddies. How did that work?
It's always been phenomenal. I can't believe the caliber of players that we get. So I just basically put it out there on social media and say, hey, coaches, you don't have to even be baseball. Any kind of team, anybody if you know a student that needs community hours, come on out and hold a hand of one of our athletes or maybe push that wheelchair. It's so much fun, and we've done so well. We did a registration earlier in the spring, hoping to get everybody signed up for this season. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, the buddies that came back was completely overwhelming. You hear stories. There's one little guy who just is in love with a player with Down syndrome, and they see each other on and off the diamond. They've kept up this beautiful relationship. And again, they're looking forward to get back on the diamond too. So, I have to thank everybody that comes out to help. And we always use the hashtag Smiles Guaranteed. And that's where I got it from, because when you see people who aren't familiar with our league and maybe a little hesitant, walk on the diamond and don't want to leave, you're doing a good thing. So
the Field of Dreams, let's talk about the history there. How did the project come about? Like a regular baseball diamond would have challenges, especially I would think for those players that are in a wheelchair or have mobility issues.
I've been with the league for 4 years, and about 3 years ago, it was Nikki Lundquist, Norm, the past president, myself standing there watching these kids on a regular field. Mm-hmm. And, it's a Saturday morning, the grass is kind of dewy. Our kids with walkers are slipping and sliding. You're getting wheelchairs stuck in little ruts, along the baseline. So like Nikki turned to Norm and said, we've got to do something. I said, hey, I've got the time. We'll start sending out applications to see what we can do. So, not a long process, but it was tedious, definitely, but we were able to get the ball diamond built. So, it's a rubberized surface. So the majority of the infield, all of the infield is actually a rubberized surface, something you'd almost see like that squishy material at a splash pad. Mm-hmm. The dugouts have wonderful benches for the players with enough space to get an adult size wheelchair between.
Yeah.
The openings, of course, are huge. So and it's a flat surface. The lines are painted on the bases. The home plate is painted on the surface. So it's flat, it's easy, it's accessible.
And the dugouts are shaded too. That's what as a mom, that's what I love. That's what I first look for.
Oh, I know. I couldn't believe it. It took all summer last year to get it built, and you forget about the little touches because I was sitting down constantly with the great folks at the town of Whitby. Mm-hmm. And so you see this building progress and you think, geez, that's really great. Then I go back the next day and I'm almost in tears because I forgot about the shade. I'm just expecting fences and benches, and oh my gosh, they went right over the top. Yep. So the shade's so important to our players. Like many people, maybe you're on a medication that you're not allowed to be out in the sun, or you just need that moment not to sweat so much, whatever the case is. And yeah, I can't believe the little extras you forget about while you watch the construction. And when you see it completed, you go, wow, that's great.
So talk to me about how or who all was involved in getting this built. The diamond itself was at the town of Whitby saying, yes, we will build it there for you. And then the Jays Care Foundation was a part of this as well, correct?
That's correct. So what happened initially was we applied to a bunch of leagues or organizations who assist with this kind of construction. So it was actually Roberto Alomar that invited Norm and I to a luncheon. And he gave $100,000 to Jumpstart, Canadian Tire Jumpstart. And in that time, the town agreed that, we have this parcel of land over at Willow Park. Mm-hmm. It'll be great, kind of get the money and let's see where we go from there. So, again, there's always shortfalls, and we had a few, but we were really fortunate. Like Mayor Don Mitchell stepped up to the plate along with the town of Whitby and gave us money just to get us over that edge. Unifor came out in full force. So again, it was Jumpstart, Roberto Alomar's Foundation 12, Unifor, and of course the town of Whitby. So everybody stepped up with these great donations and we were good to go.
How long did it take to build this field?
You know what? Offhand, I can't remember. But if you follow our Facebook page, you'll see almost a daily update.
Yeah,
from
you were out there
year.
Daily with updates.
I know. I would just go out there on my way to work and just see what was going on and cry every time because it was overwhelming. But you know what? It wasn't that bad. It was basically from spring to about October when we had the finishing touches. Towards the end, it was really, you're waiting for the grass to grow, that kind of idea. And it was pretty cool to watch. So, it took, I guess, a season, but that season flew by and it was worth the wait, that's for sure.
So throughout COVID-19, how did you keep the players, ready to go in case, they were going to be able to play? You had virtual
Well, that's where
coaching.
Jays Care is so amazing with all the challenger leagues across Canada. They go out, everything's virtual this year.
Yeah.
But, going out to coaches and buddies and volunteers and hosting these amazing training sessions. So what happened was they did a huge one in the spring, and I had a few coaches interested, said, you know what, let's keep our kids engaged, let's keep them involved, and let's get them online. So, I had a few coaches, and it came down to 2 who were really ready to make that commitment, because it is a lot of time to prepare and have that hour or so, per week on top of everything that's going on in your life when you volunteer, what it's like. And so coaches Manny and Karen, they came on board, and we invited all the athletes to come on board once a week and try this virtual training. So that's what we did, and it was pretty successful. The athletes, came on board onto the virtual meeting with coaches Manny and Karen and learned some skills, some of the athletes sat at their kitchen table. Some actually went outside, and some were throwing real softballs, and some were just tossing the, rolled up socks. So, they learned different skills. And it was so amazing to watch, because just watching their smiles, like you're sitting on a screen, and anybody who's familiar with a Zoom meeting these days, you see 10, 12 people, and these kids were all smiling. And what I loved at the end, we gave them a moment, or Manny and Karen gave them a moment just to speak, and the socialization was so rewarding. And again, a little hesitation at first because it was something new, but towards the end, when people found out how it worked and how easy it was to get online, it was pretty successful.
All these kids are pros now at Zoom, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
and so are we. So are we.
Oh, yes, we are. Now, looking forward to 2021, we have our fingers crossed. We're knocking on our heads that nothing gets in the way. Have you started planning for next season?
Yes, I have. Actually, I was speaking to Jason the other night at Firehouse Subs, because every spring we go there and do registration. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping to have a registration evening early in the spring. When everything's back to normal with the town of Whitby, I want to speak with them and get the permits laid out again for the games. Plan on a grand opening once I've spoken to all the parties that were involved with their fabulous fundraising for the Diamond, and go forward. So we're kind of replicating what we had set up for this year and didn't use. So it should be easy to call everybody and say, hey, book us, Dano.
Yeah.
And go from there. So I'm just going forward like we'll be normal next season.
We've only got about a minute and a half left, but I want to ask you about your experience. Why did you get involved with this, and what has been the best part?
I have two kids that played high-end baseball and softball. And when I first met Norm, and he said, come on out and see this league, and I went and watched, I was overwhelmed watching these kids going out to play ball. As a parent of two athletes myself, you're always yelling at them, get in the car, don't forget your glove, where's your water bottle? It's just over the top. And then when you see somebody getting out of a van with a child in a wheelchair, or a runner, a kid with Downs, and they're so excited to be there, it just kind of puts it back to the reset button, where you realize the priority is, this is the game. This is the greatest game on earth, as far as I'm concerned. And how it's just one huge family. And again, then to top it off, you've got the support of the town. Like, we rewarded these kids so often during their virtual training, saying, congratulations, you did your virtual training. And I had retailers constantly, like Egg Smart or Cupcake Junkie, Peacock Promotions, all kinds of great people, and a Skill and Ice Cream, who would say, you know what, I've got some treats for your league, so let's reward them with that. And so you just become involved with this huge group of people, and it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding, and it keeps you real.
Okay, really, Tracy, I'm going to have to stop you there. We're out of time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you for joining us. Until next time, I'm Deborah Hutchison. Stay safe.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Your mouth can do a lot of amazing things.